having the space is important. And yeah, I think that shows in my artwork over the years too. Like I was just talking about working a desk job and doing these portraits. That was my way of, I had the only space I really had was my desk at work. I could do stuff at home, but I was busy doing other stuff. Like I was finding the time while I was on the phones to create. So, and that's portraits was the easiest thing to do in that little bitty space versus now I have the room. I didn't, before we moved into this home, I didn't have the room to sculpt. You make a really good point. Maybe that's why I didn't get into it until we had more room for me to
yeah, because it's difficult to put the project aside if you don't have a place to put that
little square in the garage that's just mine. Don't, this is mine. The kids will come by. I'm like, don't touch it. You know, they want to look at what's that, and I'm like, what? There's chisels and stuff. So this is off limits. Keep it moving. But yeah, so it is important to have a dedicated, and it, my little space isn't that big, but it's enough to, I've got it overhead, and I mean, if I really needed to, I can go out in the yard, and I do often. I take the horse out there and, you know, start cutting away at stuff. I really, one of my goals is to learn chainsaw carving.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Like I've got the chainsaw for it. Talking about parents that support you, my father bought me a chainsaw a few years ago for a birthday. Because I told him, like, I really want to learn how to chainsaw carve. He's like, I got you. And he bought, yeah. So my dad, I'm sure he was proud about that too. So I got the regular chainsaw and I've got the carving bar with it. We utilize it. My husband uses it more than I do because I'm like, I need to have an actual lesson because I've had some accidents in the shop already, and that particular tool is very dangerous. So
yeah, not very forgiving.
Yeah, let's be a constant student and remember safety. And my mother would appreciate this. So like safety first. You know, I've got the chaps, I've got the gloves. I wouldn't mind getting a mask. But I really
safety goggles, yeah.
I got those too. I got the hearing protection, and I've got all that. I just genuinely would like to sit down with somebody who does it, another artist, another chainsaw artist that can give me those tips, because it's not as straightforward as just cutting a branch off a tree. And you've got all these different cuts. The negative space needs to be removed. So that's the thing about carving. It's, in my mind, I'm removing negative space to get to my sculpture. And so it's big chunks and it's smaller and smaller chunks.
With the chainsaw, a lot less forgiving. When you're sculpting, you can chip off a little piece of wood and maybe rework that and fix it if it wasn't what you wanted. But a chainsaw is going to take a big chunk when you make that slice. So.
And it's got that motor. It's got the torque behind it. It's got all that engine behind it versus your human energy. And I've caught myself with chisels before too, and you can end up with stitches with those guys. I've had a couple shop accidents, but that chainsaw is not an accident.
No.
But I do. It's my goal. Like I know that I'm capable of doing it. Like I'm confident that I can. I just want to be safe.
What type of wood do you use if you do chainsaw carving?
I would probably go through the cedar that I have first.
Okay.
I mean, it was just because it's already cured. I've got everything I need. I think the only tool I'd really want to get for that type of project would be I think it's called I'm trying to remember, jaw horse. So you have a horse, right? Which is to just set stuff on top of, right? But a jaw horse is a horse with a vise attached to it.
Okay.
So you stick your piece of wood and it vices onto that. It's a giant vise on a horse. But yeah, so I would probably go through the cedar. I've got it, so it would make sense to use it, because anything else that I use would be new. If I was going to chase down an arborist and be like, hey, it's a nice trunk you got there. I've done that before for wood chips in my yard. I watch the arborist drive by, and I'll every once in a while I'll be like, "Hey, so what kind of tree are you guys taking down?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, I'm a wood carver, just curious." And I've had them drop off chips. I haven't gotten any trunks yet, but if I were to get it, it would be green. So I run a really high risk of it splitting even more than like the dry stuff that I have, because it has to dry. So as it dries, it starts to tighten up and then it'll start to split. So there's a real big risk with carving into green wood.
So you're having to just take those on spec, like pile them over there and we'll see what makes it through.
I've got a 4-foot tall pile now of wood. So I'm good. Like I said, I told my husband, you don't have to bring any more home. Let me get through this. Because with this wood, even if I wanted to do a sculpture that was bigger than the trunks that I think my biggest trunk is probably about this big around. And that's not, when you're talking about a 5-foot tall sculpture, it's not very wide. There's ways that you just could split the log and then you connect them, whether it's with dowels or hopefully not wood glue, because that's a lot of wood glue for that type. So I would probably go with dowels and wood glue. So some big dowels, and you run it all the way down the sculpture, connect it, and then start carving it from there.
Oh, wow.
I'm
already ready.
Yeah. The gears have been moving. I just need to, my husband is really good with the chainsaw and he can teach me, and we'll get there. He probably will, maybe. But I almost, there's this part of me that wants to learn from somebody that sculpts with the chainsaw, because I know there's this high level of dexterity that you need to be able to do that, and I feel like I could probably get a lot from that, and the safety aspect, because my husband's safe.
Yeah, because you are doing some specialized
for your foot, and
so
I told him, honey, I love you, and I appreciate all of his assistance, and I do lean on him a lot in the beginning of some of my carvings, like getting some of the knockout, but I think that I need a class. Just to be safe.
And unfortunately, I don't. You probably are going to have to just find it like an individual, because there could be some chainsaw carving classes, but
Rockler offers some classes, but
okay,
I haven't researched that yet to see if they have them. But yeah, so that's next. That's chainsaw carving and then clay sculpting.
Before I forget, we want to make sure that we tell everybody where to find you. So, no website, but you could find her all over social media. Salty Vault, the Salty Vault,
the Salty Vault.
Yes. She has a fantastic Instagram, or wherever you're putting those videos. I think
Facebook is my main social media. Instagram, I do post onto Instagram. You'll find most of my stuff, most of my content is on Facebook. And I have been moving a little bit over to TikTok. They allow 1-hour videos.
Okay.
So that's cool to put a long video up over there, or YouTube. But I don't do my YouTube very much. So my main ones are the Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and those are all under the Salty Vault.
Fantastic. So yes, if you want to see what she's done already, contact her for commissions or watch her work. That's where you go find her.
I appreciate all the support. I certainly do.
Yeah. We would like to check in with you every once in a while and see what you're working on.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Follow the progress. But so I want to thank you for being our first artist on the YouTube channel, as you were the first live painter for Twitch. Again, her name is Cassandra Plock. You will find her at the Salty Vault, but just in case you need to Google her or remember what her name is as an artist, it is Cassandra Plock. So Thanks so much for
Thank you.
spending some time with us and inspiring some artists.
Yeah, I'm my pleasure, really. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks everybody
Yep.
for watching.